Next Monday, January 18th, we will not have school to observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We know that you've learned about this amazing civil rights leader in school before.
Martin Luther King Jr. believed in service. He once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" To celebrate his legacy, we want to share words from someone that he greatly influenced, John Lewis.
John Lewis was a civil rights leader, a preacher, and a U.S. congressman. He was born in Troy, Alabama in 1940 and died just last year. He wanted to be a preacher. His mom says that when he was 5, he was already preaching to the chickens on his farm. As a teenager, he met other civil rights icons like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. While at college, Lewis became active in the civil rights movement. He was arrested many times, saying it was important to be nonviolent, but get into what he called good trouble.
Later, Lewis helped Dr. King organize the March on Washington. He spoke right before King, who delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. He helped register people to vote and was a leader in marches, including from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, which became very famous.
Let's hear what John Lewis shares about Martin Luther King.
In 1957, when I was 17 years old, I wrote Martin Luther King Jr. a letter. Told him I wanted to attend a little college about 10 miles from my home, and this school didn't admit black students. He wrote me back and sent me a round-trip Greyhound bus ticket and invited me to come to Montgomery to meet with him. But I went off to another school, and he got back in touch with me and suggested when I was home for spring break to come and see him. So in March of 1958, I traveled to Montgomery. I walked through the doors of this little church, and I saw Dr. King standing behind a desk. And he said to me, "Are you the boy from Troy? Are you John Lewis?" I was so scared I didn't know what to say or what to do. And I said, "Dr. King, I'm John Robert Lewis." I gave my whole name. He was so inspiring. He was so moving. And somehow, in some way, I wanted to become part of that movement, and I did. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of service, and his day should be a day of service, not just a day of celebration, but a day on and not a day off. That we should find a way to encourage all Americans to go out and give something back.
Beginning in 1988, Lewis was elected to Congress from Atlanta. He would be reelected 16 times, serving for 34 years. He was responsible for the creation of the National African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
On his death last year, he became the first African American to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, a very big honor. Now he passes his work on to us, continuing the push for justice and an end to hate.
There are 2 opportunities for you to celebrate Dr. King's challenge for us to be involved in our community. The first is this Sunday, January 17th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. for a virtual celebration including guest speakers and performances.
The second opportunity is on Monday, January 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a drive-by parade from the Snohomish County Courthouse to Everett Community College. This event is also available for streaming. Details will be emailed to students and made available on the Gateway webpage.
We challenge you, Gateway family, to take the day off of school, but to engage in a way that you feel meaningfully contributes to our community.